What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. Today is a recap of the exciting rugby we had this past weekend. Before I get that, I want to say a massive thank you to all my subscribers. When I started this channel just over a year ago, all I wanted was in 2017 is to reach 50 subscribers. I am now just over 1,500 subscribers, so a massive thank you to you all for joining me on the journey. So happy to see how you guys are enjoying my content, and as I grow on this channel I hope to get better and better. But a massive thank you to everyone who subscribed. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe. I'm growing every day, and I hope to be as big as the other great sporting and motivational YouTubers out there, so big thank you. But let's get to the recap of this past weekend. My word, we were treated to some cracking rugby. Teams showed up properly. We had an upset here and there. We had close games. We had just overall exciting rugby where teams played their socks out. It was just one of those moments where you look back at this past weekend and see, it's sad to see the November internationals end, but when it ends like that you go, my word, we've had a great year of rugby. For South African fans, it's not over yet. We got Wales next, but let's get to a recap of yesterday's rugby matches. If we go to the first game, we had Romania-Tonga. I predicted Tonga to win. Tonga did win, and they won by 5 points. Definite good comeback from last week. They didn't play too well. If we look at Georgia-USA, predicted USA here, but Georgia won. I didn't get to see the game. It wasn't shown on SuperSport, but it's what a highlight for me is once again seeing America come up and grow. I see I've got quite a few American fans on this channel, but I think as rugby starts to grow in the world, and America's definitely got the finances to fund, I definitely see them in the next 5 to 10 years, America being right up there with like the teams of Italy, Scotland, and we'll be worried about them, I think, because if they develop and continue this and take this seriously, they could create one hell of a rugby team. So it must have been an exciting match. Georgia-USA, Georgia put that one by 1 point, but what a game it looked like it was. If we go to Fiji-Canada, Fiji dominated Canada 57-17. I pretty much saw that coming. Fiji are a good upcoming rugby team, and they definitely showed it. France-Japan, holy cow guys, that was one heck of a game. Japan showed up, and I was proving that they are definitely developing in world rugby. I think the last penalty kick, Japan definitely had it. If they kicked that over, they would have beaten French rugby. French rugby has got a lot of work to do. There are problems there, but Japan are on the rise. We better watch out for them. They beat South Africa once before. They pretty much nearly beat France. If not, they should have beat France. So definite team to watch out. Ireland versus Argentina, score 28-19. Definitely looked like a great game. Ireland, obviously a better game from Fiji. Again, Fiji are a team we can't just drop off. They're a dominant team. We see it in the sevens rugby. And again, if finances are given, I think they're also going to be a dark horse. They can upset a team and really destroy chances of getting to group stages and stuff like that. Fiji are a team, but good to see Ireland back. Argentina unlucky, definite problems there, I think. Hopefully they can sort out their coaching staff and whatever problems there. So because I want to see the old Argentina back, the Argentina that are the dark horses, that you look at them and you fear them, because you just never know. 2007, they were a great team, and I just want to see that back. Ireland, I'm glad for you guys that you're back on winning ways. I mean, obviously you won last week and you destroyed South Africa, but obviously last week you had your third or second string team, but good to see you guys winning. Hard luck Argentina. If we look at Wales versus New Zealand, 12-11 at one stage in this game. Exciting stuff. Wales definitely giving it a go, but both teams unfortunately big injuries. Would have been interesting to see if both teams had their top players. I think we could have had a different game. Score 18-33, you know. It's just one of those things where New Zealand again continue to play full game rugby. So when a team tires, New Zealand just go in and keep scoring. So well done, New Zealand. You guys have had a cracking year. Obviously ups and downs, but they're number one for a reason. If we look at England versus Samoa, 48-14, holy macaroni, they destroyed Samoa. Unfortunately, Samoa, I think, with their financial issues, is definitely a factor within their rugby. England just dominant, top force to be reckoned with, definitely right there with New Zealand. I cannot wait to see next year England versus New Zealand. Everyone's talking about it in the comment section. Everyone's talking about it around here. That, my friends, is going to be one hell of a rugby match. We will be treated to something beautiful there. And then I'm going to get to the two highlights of the weekend for me. Let's start off with Australia versus Scotland. This game was definitely a game that I think most people saw the upset coming. Some predicted it, some didn't. I know I predicted Australia to win. I thought they just had it within them, but hard luck Australia, but well done Scotland. You guys are on the rise. I have family. Well, my dad was born in Scotland. My brother-in-law is Scottish. His brother had to streak naked at the pub because Scotland beat Australia, and they're all Scottish, so it was quite a hoot last night to witness something crazy like that. But well done Scotland. Australia, hard luck, welcome to the 50 club. Yeah, it's not a nice feeling. I know you fans are going to be very disappointed. South Africa have been there, done that. We have the t-shirt of the 50 clubbing, but obviously you guys at least scored 24 points. Just another game where obviously the first half it's close, neck and neck, but keeper Scotland, they're looking good. Last week they were looking good against New Zealand. They had a little battle the week before, but man, after last week's game against New Zealand, I think a lot of people thought if they can continue this momentum, they're going to dominate Australia. I honestly didn't see a score like this coming, but 53-24, well done Scotland. Take a bow, take a rest, enjoy the victory. I'm sure there were a lot of hangovers this morning in good old Scotland, but hard luck Australia. Just, if there's any advice for a team like that, they aren't developing, growing. We all Southern Hemisphere rugby is on the rise, but man, Northern Hemisphere rugby was great this year. Definitely seeing some strong stuff from them. Obviously New Zealand dominated, but South Africa had their question marks. I'll get to that right now. But Australia didn't have too bad of a tour. Obviously coming short against England, but it was a okayish performance. England just dominated at the end, but unfortunately ending to Scotland like this is definitely going to leave a sour taste in their mouths. But they're definitely better than they were earlier this year. Australia, they are growing. I wouldn't want to see Michael Cheika after last night's game. I think he would have sworn every single person that stood by him, because to me he's quite a grumpy old fart. But what a game for Scotland, and well done Scotland. All the Scots fans, thumbs up to you guys. That was incredible stuff. Then we get to my game, South Africa versus Italy. Now a lot of people are going to say probably, yes, you guys won, but you were playing against a weak team and all that stuff. Let's just go back a bit. South Africa technically are also a weak team. We've had a rough year. We've had ups, we've had downs, more downs than ups. Unfortunately, we've got a situation with our coach where no one's sure whether he's the right man for the job, and all other issues from quota system to politics in sport and all that jazz. But for me personally, I am extremely proud of yesterday's performance. Springboks completely dominated. They looked good. I was talking to a gentleman last night, and he was saying it's weird to see the set pieces and everything working for the Springboks. Line outs, everything. It was just, you know, the past couple of weeks we've been on edge. It's like you see a line out throw, it's like Are they going to do it? Are they going to miss? What's going to happen? But it was truly special stuff. Great to see us score more than one try. Hallelujah. So for me, great performance from the Springboks. I'm proud of them. I don't say they're back, because they've got a lot of work to do, and next week we could be down in the dumps again against Wales. That is not going to be an easy game. I'm telling you guys right now, this is going to be another tough game like Ireland, and we're going to have our thinking caps, our rugby caps, any sort of cap that helps us develop and win. But for me, Springboks proud performance. Pollard, machine, great comeback. Obviously he had maybe first game jitters in a long time last week, but Pollard looked great. When the beast went off, the props were playing like champs. Kitsoff, another great player. Bongi, number 2, I said I wanted him in the team. Scored a try, looking good. If I have to pick out some weak links, Lood de Jager for me was the weakest on the field. He was nowhere. He was dropping the ball, passing strangely. He wasn't the Lood de Jager I know from the Cheetahs. Something's going on with him. Maybe he's just losing a bit of form. But I would definitely maybe swap him and Peter Steph the toy, and get him back into the position where he's known. Peter Steph. He was very quiet, Peter Steph. I didn't see him stand out like he did against Ireland. Even though he lost, he still stood out. But overall, I'm proud. I'm proud of the performance. Coetzee to me was also a little bit weak. Next week, if I'm Alistair Coetzee, I will start with Gallant or Gallant, whatever his name is. I think that guy's a solid force, a big boy key. And I could see him dominating and growing. He is the future. Don't get me wrong, Coetzee is good, but I want to give Gallant a shot at playing for the Springboks. I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with as we go forward. I would start with Kitsoff and bring him in. The beast might be injured out, but let's get these youngsters experiment and get them, because the bench stood up last night. Yankees, okay, didn't play that much longer, but next week we are losing quite a few players, especially Yankees, Vermeer and all those blokes who play overseas, because of the ruling of the November Internationals is now done, so they can't come play for South Africa. Some crazy rule like that. So it's going to be a different team next week, but I'm excited about it, because this is where Alistair could chop and change and experiment a bit to get a great team out there. But overall, what a weekend of rugby. New Zealand, Sam Cane stood out for me. Other players stood out, the team stood out, but again, highlight for me was watching the Springboks score tries and play good rugby, and then Scotland and Australia. Scotland dominating Australia. Great stuff to Scotland. But what a weekend. US on the rise, New Zealand still winning, England top notch as well. Guys, next year we're going to have a crazy year of rugby. But I'm going to do another recap of the overall tournament once South Africa play. So don't go anywhere. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Predictions for Wales, South Africa, and if there's any other internationals, as well as the recap. Don't go anywhere. I am still here. And again, guys, if you have any suggestions for future uploads, let me know in the comment section below, so I can continue making content for you when the rugby season's done. So make sure you let me know those thoughts. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, smash that beautiful thumbs up button, and if you haven't already, as I just said, hit the subscribe button. It is right down there. All you need to do is click it, and you're with me for life. Stay safe, guys, and never give up. Have a great week. Cheers.